Thank you for being here. Oh, this particular episode's going to be a weird one, man. It is. Good evening. Oh, man. So, a quick disclaimer here because this is going to be a strange one, okay? I like the way the mic is sounding right now, but I don't know if that's just me. So a couple disclaimers. Number one, you're going to hear a lot of stuff that comes from really bad tapes or really bad VHS tapes because they're old, and yeah, so that's it. Expect that, expect it to be very terrible and weird. Claudia B says sounds nice and crispy. Okay, good. Crispy is good, I guess. It's going to sound crunchier as it goes along. But I've got a lot to tell you before we get started. But it's going to be an interesting one because it revolves around things that are going on with my case. But as a result, like I said last week, you guys are going to benefit because there's going to be a lot of weird things that are going to be uncovered that are great and cool and terrible and awful, and we're going to get into that and all those things in between. But first, hi Claudio B, hi Steve Valdo's in the house, Hanson Jody, Alfonso's in the house, Valdizin Kano's in the house on YouTube, Sage, Wendy's in the house, Robots and Isopods says hi. Yay, I love when other bands come. Yes. Jay the teacher's in the house. Edward Lewis, Matt. Thank you, Matt, by the way. I owe you one. You don't know what it is yet, but I owe you one. Todd, thank you. All of you for being here. All my stats are off the charts tonight. Usually I'll see that, like what platform I'm streaming at. I can see like how many people are watching, all that kind of stuff I can see. And I can't see any of it. So I can see the chat, but I can't see anything else. And to make matters worse, every time I type, it seems that somehow I'm affecting the stream. So I'm going to keep my typing sort of light here and there. So while the music and stuff is playing, particularly videos, I'm going to kind of stray from typing sorry. But I'll try to answer your questions as they come in and then read them back when we come back. But a quick heads up before we go any further. Let's see. Can I pull that up real quick? No. Nope, sorry. I meant to show this. Although eternity is in love with the creations of time. I agree with William Blake on that one. But shows. San Antonio, November 26th on a Wednesday. And so far my flight has not been canceled, so everything's good. But I'll have to take trains or drive or whatever I got to do to make that gig. But so far so good. And Saturday the 29th in El Paso. And, just because I love this quote, I'm going to leave it up for the moment when we switch back to videos. So let's get into it. There's so much to tell, and I can go in so many different directions because, my frazzled brain works that way. Oh, man. So let me explain. I think I was talking about this last week, but I've been compiling things that are considered for what is known as discovery items. And this is for later. But in particular, all the peace songs that were written, well, I should say all the peace songs were written between, believe it or not, 1987 and 1989. None of the peace songs were actually written in 1990. I have verified that now. Because what I was doing is I was trying to match the earliest recordings of each song as, the earliest recording that I could have, whether it was on tape or VHS or whatever. and I was matching the song to the lyric book, and to my surprise, um, some of the ones I thought were older were actually much younger. And I found that really surprising, actually. Like, I didn't know, but just like the lyrics to Just One Day and the basic melody, to give you an idea, was actually written in 1987. It is actually the oldest song on Peace. But we never played it live until 1990 and beyond, which is weird. But I think it's because I hadn't finished it until late 1989, but the lyrics were written early and the basic melodies were written earlier, which is funny. So that's interesting trivia, I guess, for some of you that are nerds or interested in that kind of guy thing. But so yeah, I was surprised. And the other thing that was funny was I found that, and I had forgotten about this, which is we're going to get into forgotten memory soon because there's a lot to get to. But the weird thing was that I had forgotten that there were two versions of Jubilation with completely different lyrics, and the first lyrics make no sense at all, other than I can sing the chorus using those words, but it's just completely off. But it still says, when it was written, and that, Danya and Paul helped me with it, that particular one. And it went through 3 revisions. And of course, I don't have the last one, the third one, which would have been the one we recorded. But I think that's because we wrote the lyrics on a loose leaf notebook and I never transcribed it back into my journal. But my journal has the first 2, which is more than enough. But anyway, I digress, which of course means I have to take a sip of that really delicious tea. That one came out pretty good. So anyway, so here's what we're going to listen to. I'm going to switch so I can actually tell you ahead of time what's coming. So we listened to Kiss of Love from 1988. We're going to listen to Living in Oblivion coming up next, also from the same gig, which was technically, when the tape starts, because this was taken from VHS, it says November 24th, which would have been Thanksgiving, of course, but we played after midnight, so by the time we went on, the tape changes and says November 25th, but we always thought of that one as our Thanksgiving Day gig, but you'll see that the timestamp says November 25th to keep it, legally correct, which is funny. So yeah, so we played on the 25th technically because we went on so late. But so this is the next one I'm going to play is going to be Living in Oblivion from 1988 at the Pipeline Thanksgiving Day. But also on this tape, which was cool, was an odd rendition of When We Lie, Our Dreams, and Soul on Fire. And I believe that this is the very first performance of Soul on Fire. And actually, I don't think it even had that title at the time. And you'll see me making fun of it, the title. I think I say Joy Division House in the video. So you're going to hear like these oddball takes. So we're going to get those out of the way. And then I'm going to play, if I get time to do that, I'm going to play these songs that I found on a tape that are really, really forgotten. I had forgotten I recorded them. I had forgotten of their existence. I had forgotten about their lyrics. I had forgotten about everything about them until the moment I heard them, and it broke me. And I'm going to explain why it broke me when we get to them. But anyway, enjoy yourselves. This is Living in Oblivion at the Pipeline, November 25th, 1988.
This song is called Living in Oblivion. very much.
Huh?
Thank you very much.
You can tell that was the most popular song at the time. Ah, that's funny. So that was Living in Oblivion from The Pipeline, November 25th, 1988. And so in trying to correlate these early ones and trying to find the lyrics to everything, because, it's not like I open these books all the time and look through them. I don't. These are the two books. These are the two books that encompass all the lyrics from Peace. This one, which is the hardcover one, and yeah, all the little tags are from where I found stuff. And then this one, which is in pretty bad shape too, actually. Can you read the title? I used to put funny titles on my lyric books. This one says, an odd assortment of words and altered states of mind. But this one's cool because it's funny because I wanted to find out, like, if, funny trivia here. I wanted to find out if Paul had written the lyrics to Lady in Waiting in any of his journals. I assumed he had journals, and apparently I don't think he keeps journals. So, but I asked him if he'd written down the lyrics, and he said no. And we were trying to like figure out when he wrote it. And funny enough, it's in this book. It was here, and I had to like take a photo of it and send it to him because it was funny. But I think it's because I had to transcribe the lyrics because back then, like I would have had to learn his song. So, but the other trivia that was funny was for him to play songs for us, because he didn't have a tape deck, he would bring over his SQ80, hit play, and then, tell us how the song went. So we would have to plug his keyboard into our sound system to listen to the songs. There was no, here's a tape of the new song I wrote or whatever. So anyway, trivia-wise, I'm so happy that I have that. So now, oh, by the way, I kept saying that my typing seems to be affecting the stream. So while I'm playing stuff, I can't type. So ask the questions and I will answer. So here we go. I'm going to go back a little bit and just answer some of your questions. Dave Delajara says, hello, Claude. How are you? I would like to share my cover of Anything Box. Ooh, nice. Yeah, I'll check it out. I can't check it out while I'm on the stream, but yes, I'll check it out. Jay the teacher on YouTube asked me, what song did you record in the back of a truck? When we were recording Peace, the song that was tracked in the back of Paul's truck was Soul on Fire, which is a funny story, but, not for tonight. Nice. Lisa says, this song still makes me want to dance and sing. Yay. What up, Steven? Oh, thank you. Matt says your vocals sound great here. Oh, they do? Oh, they won't when you get to the next songs. I promise. Mai's in the house. Hi. Jay the teacher, back before color. No, these were in color, but the color gradients were so bad on this video that it actually just made more sense to make it black and white because you could actually make out things more. It sounds weird and counterproductive, but you gotta trust me, the color was so bad that everything just bled into each other and you couldn't see anything at all. At least here you can make out like haircuts and outfits and whatnot. So I thought it was just better in black and white for tonight in general, because all that mattered really was the audio and the, for this. But it was indeed... Matt says, I saw you live in Chicago years ago, someplace called the Green Dolphin. Green Dolphin Street, I believe it was. And Carlos says, saw Abox in Mexicali back in the 90s. Yes. And Claudio says, I want to hear these songs of which you speak of. Now it's like scrolling too fast. Oh, wow. So, yeah, so anyway, there I was compiling these lyrics, and I found everything. Like I found every single one. Like I said, the only song missing, technically missing, would be the last recorded version of Jubilation. It's lyrics, not the audio. I actually have the first recording of Jubilation because it was an easy record, an easy thing to record at that time. But Gigi says, mind if I share my acoustic cover of Carmen? Of course you can. Yeah, always. If you guys ever do covers, or if you have music you just want me to check out, always just direct message me. I can't say that I will always respond because I tend to not respond to direct messages. But hint, if you send me art and music, you got a better chance of getting a response. But it's not because I'm lazy. It's just I get a lot, and it's hard to decipher it between all the different social medias and all that stuff. I know it sounds like, what are you talking about? But it's true. I get a lot. I can't sift through a lot. But if I see that it has art or music attached to it, you can be sure I'm going to open it. I'm still not. Something's weird here. And I don't know what it is, but something is weird. Interesting. Okay. So, sorry. Trying to figure out what's going on with my microphone over here. So, JBK Knight says on Twitch, was the pipeline a big bar, venue, warehouse? The pipeline is not still standing. It was, for lack of a better word, a bar and a venue all wrapped up into one. It's an iconic venue. Iconic. I mean, Nine Inch Nails played there. I got to see, all these different punk bands and all these different other, a lot of people played there in their early days. And some that actually played there after they got big. Hence, Nine Inch Nails played after. So it was a cool place. Still one of my favorite memories anyway. But so let's get back into it, because it's, I want to get to the other stuff, because the other stuff's going to take more explanation than this stuff. This stuff's easy. So now we're shifting gears, because we're playing from that era. We're playing peace songs that were from 1988 and 1989, and to be specific, before Epic, before Sony. Not only to prove to the world that we existed before then, but to show that the songs themselves existed before then, and that they didn't alter that much from their original form. Although, of course, when you're playing live, things change. Yeah, exactly. It was like Wendy says it sounds like Numbers in Houston. Very similar, but not as big. Numbers is definitely a much larger venue. Pipeline is probably, since I'm answering Wendy, since you've probably been to Etro, just think of a venue that's about double the size of Etro. It held about, I would say, conservatively, 300 people max. But then they'd be kind of packed like sardines. But Eric Bustos, that's a great question. Do you remember which band opened up with you at that pipeline? Absolutely. Bellas Artes was one of them. And there was a few others, but Bellas Artes is still one of my favorites. So if you guys are listening, I still love you guys. I still have fond memories of those gigs. Those were my favorite gigs. So let's go, and now we're going to May 16th, 1989, again, at the Pipeline. And I believe, I could be wrong, but I don't have any other video that I can go and reference. But I believe this is the first time we played When We Lie. So this is When We Lie, at the pipeline, May 16th, 1989.
You know, I really like that. I really appreciate what you're doing because we're really gonna miss you. Wait a minute. You guys are like thinking, that we're like, oh wow, they're going to California, they don't give a shit, but we really do.
Hey, bring some blondes back, right?
Well, Mike's taking water, so.
Mikey!
It's called When We Lie.
So funny. There's something funny here, I think. Or was it this one? Ah, there you go. You could hear what they were asking for. So, this is nice. It feels like sophomore year in high school. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's funny, huh? So, yeah, that was When We Lie. probably one of the first times we played it. If it's not the first time we ever played it, it was definitely not. It was definitely not just like the second. It's the second or third, because I couldn't find any instance of When We Lie that was older than this one. There's a couple of shows that I know are missing from those days, because this was the second to last show before we moved to California. And so this was like our pipeline goodbye show. And then we had one more show at a place called, oh man, it's not coming to me, but I think it was called the Apollo 2000. And that was a new venue. And it was a great show, but as far as I know, no one has that on tape because I've never seen it. But apparently that was a good show. So this is the last show that I have from Jersey moving into California, which is nice. And I still don't know how many people are watching. So if you're listening and you're watching, welcome. I do this every Friday at 8. We stream and we talk about old crap. And well, not always. Sometimes we talk about, weird foo-foo stuff. Mystical things, creative things. We get into all kinds of stuff here. But this week and last week are they're kind of pointed because I've been working on my case. And in case you're living under a rock, I'm in a lawsuit against Sony, and so I've had to collect evidence. And as part of this evidence collection is happening, besides listening to these old tapes and archiving them together with their lyrics, because I want them to all match up. It's good if you get a lyric that was written in 1988, and then you get a tape of the first recording of said song in 1988, and then lo and behold, you have a show of the song in 1988. That kind of proves you wrote it in 1988. You know what I mean? Or 89, as it were. A vast majority were written in 89, obviously. But like I said, there was a few that were written prior. And like I said, I was really surprised that Just One Day out of all of them was the oldest. I believe it was February of 87, those lyrics. Pretty wild. So, Joseph, let's hit on the huge auroras of the past few days. The coronal ejections. Oh, believe me, I've been trying to follow that as much as I can because so much has been going on, and I still haven't published my little interesting conversation that I have to I still haven't processed the whole beast mode thing that I got into 2 weeks ago. It's been pretty crazy around here, outside of Abox stuff. So yeah, it's been a little hectic the last couple weeks. Actually, since the day I came back from Houston, it's been personal stuff, but just, like a schedule that you wouldn't believe. And it's been pretty crazy. And, so life has not been easy. And of course I've had to deal with the case stuff and all this other crap going on. So, yeah. So anyway, not that you want to hear all this crap, but let's see what's next. Oops. We saw that one. So this next one, I'm looking at the title so that I kind of get it right, because I'm like, I know I'm going to screw this up. Actually, I think it would be better. Hold on, let me see if I can just do something really funny here. This should be a lot easier. Cool. Going to the black and white cam for a minute here. So, this next one is interesting because this is what's sucky about this. This remix or version of Our Dreams that you're about to listen to was a live remix. So this was one of those things that we would do on occasion. We would have a new song, and we kind of knew that in order for it to go over really well, people would have to dance to it. This is just like, that was our understanding as young kids at that time. You got to make them dance to it first. And then you do the song. So we would do these weird versions of songs to introduce new songs. So it would be like, they would have extra breaks, they would have a little bit of extra drums, a little bit of more funkiness to them to get people dancing and then kind of get them into it. So it would be like, we didn't even know it at the time. We had no word for this. Like, it was remixing on the fly, but we did not know what we were doing. So I can say we were live remixing now, but back then we were just doing a different version of it, extended, as we would call it at that time. So we would do these weird extensions to try to like get people into it. That's how you can tell that the next two songs that I play were new. Because very seldom would we say, this is a new song. Once in a while we might. But normally would be like, I've been working on something, or this is a track you might have, heard last time we were here. Because we would say that even if we hadn't played it yet, it's kind of like make people go, oh, there's a reason why we used to do that psychologically. It's funny. It's just something that we used to do. So the next one that I'm going to play is Same Gig, because this one was an important one because it had 6 songs from Peace on it. So this is Our Dreams, May 16th, 1989 at the Pipeline. And when we're done, we should wrap up the first hour, and then the next hour is going to be just wow crazy. So, but anyway, let's see what we've got. Ooh boy. Yep. Here it is. Our Dreams.
Do you know that's all we wanted? That didn't sound so loud, did it? You can tell we practiced this for hours.
Aí, não.
That's funny. So, so, oh, shoot, I messed up. Hold on. Ah, no, 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 don't do that. Thank you. Hello. Yes, I do mess up. So, yeah, so good question. Todd says, what drove you to change some of these and drop all the different percussion and other instruments used? Well, that's just it. There's the version that we wound up with that we would play out on shows, but when it was new, and that's how I can tell this was new, we would do experimentation. So those like high ahs that Danya was doing, I don't know why we stopped doing them. Like, I can't think of why. Now I'm going to ask her next time I see her, like, why did we not use that? She's going to say like, you said it. And we're going to have a fight over it. But I'm pretty sure that it wasn't me, because I actually really love that part. The high ah thing is really cool. It goes with it. But as far as the other bits, they were intended for remix purposes later, and it never happened. So we were gonna do that when, quote, Our Dreams was supposed to be a single. In fact, it's funny. I found in one of these notebooks, I found like a meeting that I'd had with Epic right before, the shit went down in a handbasket, and then we wound up, well, it was before we went to Germany, but we had a third single on that we were working on, and we were supposed to have a remix of Our Dreams. And I mean, we could have referenced some of this stuff, but it didn't happen. So it's one of those things. It's unfortunate, but what's cool is that then it exists in this form. At least people can see that, this is what we were doing, right? Because there's and you'll hear this one too, but not tonight. But because there's one that I've played. There's a version of Our Dreams that was brand new, and we had just done a rehearsal of it. And this is without Danya's vocal, because Danya wasn't even there that day. And Mike and I took it over to a radio station, and we had them play it that night. And it was pretty much the structure that wound up staying with us well into the 1990 version. But even now it's different. I mean, even now it's a little bit more beefy than it was even on the Peace album. So it goes through its iterations. But now I've got ideas because, it's funny because now I can like go back and like analyze some of this stuff and go, X on, it's funny. X with a question mark says, what sort of drum machine did you use live? That was a Sequential Circuits Tom, which was a fantastic, that was like the Abox drum machine. Absolutely was the one. And you'll hear more of it soon. So let's see, where are we now? Once again, I say this, eternity is in love with the creations of time. The last one that we're going to play is Soul on Fire. So we know that's the next one. Excuse me, I need a spot of tea. And that will be right on the hour, won't we? Yeah, we will. Awesome sauce. Awesome sauce. Because this one is, I actually like this one a lot because it's so weird and so out there. This is like the most out there version of Soul on Fire you're ever going to hear. But, someone says, after you win the case, you can make the single. I can make the single now. I just have to re-record it. It's just, I'm not as interested in re-recording stuff. But I could do it right now. It would not be that big of a deal. Funny enough, it's because now I have all the sounds that I used, and in a roundabout way, I actually have the drum machine too. So everything that I have again. So I could technically just redo it from scratch. And it wouldn't sound that much different. But the danger, and this is, I'm getting out of bounds here with the topic, but the danger of that, though, is that you can't do it exactly the same because it won't, even if you try to chase that sound, even if you got it exactly right, you're not going to be satisfied. I wouldn't be satisfied. You wouldn't be satisfied. It wouldn't have the same feel as it did then. So we would be forced to like try to update things and make things sound better or different, and then it would kind of change it. And so I'm not that invested in it. I tend to do things like that more for live. So like for live, I might do some mixing it up, and I have done that with Our Dreams quite a bit actually. Anyone who's been to an Abox show in the last couple of years knows that Our Dreams is a little bit different in the beginning. I have like a whole little modular bit that goes on before the actual song kicks in. So those things are new. But yeah, I don't know. Re-recording it's not really in the bag. But it's coming up at 9, and then we have 1 hour, and I think that's when things shift. So our trek to the Pipeline 1989 ends here. It ends right here with this song. So this was new. The working title of this song was House on Fire, not Soul on Fire. Which is funny because in the lyric book, you can see that I kind of scratched that out. So it had lyrics, but some of those lyrics were borrowed from another song, namely Time to Go. So you can see that we're jamming here. And again, we're doing the remix thing. And if any of them have the remix thing going on, this one definitely does. But it helped us out because by the time we got to California and wound up recording Peace, our arrangements were a lot closer. And then we had a pretty good framework. The very first recording of Soul on Fire is very similar to the version that was on the record. So I can say that we kind of stayed close all throughout. But this one has a lot more interesting, funky things going on. So here you go. This is from the Pipeline, May 16th, 1989, Soul on Fire. That's so funny. Oh man. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Oh man. So sorry, had to switch there. Ah, so funny. So yeah. So yeah, we had the InSock, Big Audio Dynamite, Art of Noise, and who else? All in one night. So by the way, which is funny, you will notice that samples of like, you know, kind of like I don't know, samples taken from, you know, the Brothers and Sisters was taken from oh, somebody said it up there. And yeah, Art of Noise, all that kind of stuff. We were listening to that kind of stuff, obviously. But by the time we got to this next phase, which is the phase that we're about to enter, all that was done. We didn't do that anymore. You will notice that even on Peace, the samples of, you know, TV stuff, that kind of, those kind of things, they show up in Abox songs after, but very little. It's not part of our thing. Like for example, and by the way, there's no offense to those that do. It's just that in our minds, and this is a plug for a band, in our mind, Information Society had done it best. So we weren't going to be the other American synth band that did exactly what they're doing. So we had seen them, we had like loved watching them, and since then, of course, I've gotten to play with them. So it was this idea of like, we don't want to do that because they're already doing it. And so to differentiate ourselves, we need to do something else. And so our thing was, we're going to have just pretty melodies and go darker and weirder and just do weird things. And we avoided samples. So we used them, but our use of samples were more atmospheric. They weren't like stabs from movies or anything like that. We tried very much to avoid it. And that was unique to us. And so, yeah, so once we came to California and people heard some of the demos, they're like, oh, we love all the samples. We're like, we're not using them. We're not going to use those samples. So, like, Our Dreams, for example, we made our own samples of things. So we would do our own voiceover and all that stuff, just to differentiate ourselves. We loved that whole thing. And another one that's notable for me would be Front 242, because that was another band that I was really into. So obviously, I wanted to avoid doing the same things. And so we decided that instead of that, we would focus more on lyrics, vocals, and structure. And that would be our thing. And samples would be atmospheric or percussion-based things. So we did a lot of sampling outside, which, you know, you could say came from Neubauten and Depeche and all that stuff, and that's fine. But again, we differentiated ourselves by, we weren't using just noise and we weren't using just textures. We were kind of doing our own little thing. So there's no more videos, at least not for tonight. So it's 9 o'clock. And I'm going to start playing this tape. And so this tape, so let me explain. While we were touring in 1990, because I have to say this, hold on, I have to take a swig. Now you're going to find out how different we wanted to be. So 1990 was a weird time because we were touring, and I could honestly say that 1990 to probably the end of 1991, studio time at home was almost impossible to achieve. We were touring non-stop. we would come home, but we would go immediately right back out. So there was very little time to like acclimate back to the equipment. So whenever I had an idea or whatever, I would have to like get it down quick, get a good recording of it, demo it, and put it away. And while Peace was out, we had an interim album. We had something that we were working on that was like sort of an in-between Worth, what would become Worth, and Peace. And it's moody. It's moody stuff. And it's out there. The other thing we wanted to do was we wanted to do something, or at least I wanted to do it. I can't say that everybody else wanted to do it. I wanted to evoke something like a really long song, but that would evolve into different parts, and it would be different things. So you could listen to it all as one piece of music, but you could also split it up and listen to it as separate pieces of music. This was my first thought about the CD process, because now we had seen CDs. And so my idea was, well, can't we do a really long song? Something that's like 12 minutes long, but then we break it up so that if someone wanted to listen to the whole thing, they could, but they could also just pick the parts they wanted to play. And there was, so that was one idea. And we had all these different songs. And my MPC killed all those songs. And so some of them I recorded, and some of them you've heard here before. I've played some of them. But this particular batch, this has sat on a tape in my friend's house for now 30-something years, and I had not heard these things since then. So when I saw the titles, I was like, what? Like, what is this? Like, one of them is obvious because it's a cover, and I'm going to play that for you now. So tonight you're going to hear that whole little thing, but I'm not going to play it in the whole 12-minute thing. I'm just going to play it in the chunks. But this is the cover that would have started it, and I'm going to sneeze. Sorry. Whoops. Sorry if I got that on you. Yeah, suddenly had to sneeze. But yeah, so this starts off with a cover. I won't even say what it is. I'll just turn the overhead. And here you go. This is from a tape sent to me by Nelson, and I'm so grateful that I have these songs back. Starts off with this. till she died, and then she lost control. She lost control again. She's lost control. She's lost control again. She's lost control. She's lost control again. She's lost control. She's lost control again. She's lost control. Funny. So yeah, so that was the first thing I heard on that tape, and I was like, uh-oh, what is this stuff? So from here, now we get into this piece of music that is basically 3 songs. And they're connected, but the first one's really long, so I'm apologizing now because it's long. But here's the clincher. I had forgotten about this one because, like I said, I had lost all this music when this floppy disk decided not to load anymore. And this was the first experience I had with something that used floppy disks, first of all, because the MPC was not it wasn't familiar to me at that time. So I never expected that, I'm going to pop a disk in and it's going to say read error. You know what I mean? I never thought that would ever happen at that time. I didn't even have a computer yet, so I had no clue as to what was happening there. But yeah, sure enough, I think I had something like 20, 30 songs on it, and it lost all of them. And some of them were easy to find again because I had the lyrics. So I was able to reconstruct them. But the ones where I hadn't written the lyrics yet, or the ones where things were sitting in an experimental state, those were just lost. And unless I had a recording of them, they were lost. So the following songs I have not heard for over 30 years. And so when I heard them again, I was just it brought me back to that exact moment. And this is wild stuff. So the song's called the section. Okay, it's 3 songs. Have You Seen The Broken Man and Save Me? These are the 3 songs. So we're going to listen to the long part first, which is Have You Seen? And judging from the mood of just the cover, you can kind of see where we were going. So we were definitely going more gothic on one side of the equation. And so, it's a phase, right? You get into these weird phases. And I was also writing the diary songs around this time, the beginnings of what would become the diary later. So my mood was to go back to the argument, or not argument, to go back to the argument about samples. I was moving away from that into song structures. And so I was into the idea of long bits of music and things that would go into each other. Of course, this became part of the Abox sound. Worth does it. Hope does it. Electrodelica does it. They all kind of do that now. They're meant to be listened to together as one big piece of music. But here, it's kind of taken to an extreme. So anyway, I'm going to play it and you guys get to hear it and we'll see where we go from here. This is Have You Seen? Ha! That was part one. Then it goes into the next song. So the next song is The Broken Man, which in the first part makes its little, it happens for a few bars and it goes into that song and then goes out of it. And then this song goes into this next bit. So this is the Broken Man part, which I'm interrupting, but that's because obviously I didn't want to I didn't want to play the whole thing in its entirety, or at least not all of it. But yeah, it's got a bit of everything. It's definitely Worth era-ish. It's definitely more hinting towards Worth, right? And you can tell where things were kind of going. So, yeah. So imagine forgetting, because that's the theme, right? The memory loss. Imagine forgetting that you wrote this. I'm not saying it's some great thing. I'm just saying, imagine it's your own thing and you forgot you wrote it. I was in shock. Oh, how could have I forgotten? And it's it came back. All of it came back, and it was like the era that it was written in was probably this time where we had been touring and all this stuff, and we'd come back. So I'm giving you the story here. We had just come back, wrote this, I had recorded it, gone right back on tour, and then came back, and it's now we're fighting with our record company, and it begins the whole entire process of are we going to Germany or not? Do we have a manager or not? Do we have a record deal or not? All this stuff was going on. And so, yeah, losing the songs when that, when the floppy disk failed was I guess the straw that broke the camel's back, because after that point, I went back on tour and blinders were on. So I couldn't remember any of this stuff. So we came back, but it came back with full force. So when I heard it, I just ugh, I can't even tell you how it felt. So anyway, I'll continue playing it because it's going to be a while before you hear these again. And I'm going to explain what I'm going to do with them I'll play the next bit. I'll explain all that stuff after. So here comes The Broken Man. Ha, the broken man. Maddie says, Soldier and Child came to mind. Yeah, see, like, I may have forgotten these lyrics, but some part of my subconscious remembered them. And I like the lyric "broken by the divided land" thing, because it's like it's apropos 2025 more so than it was back then. So that was a weird thing. The whole thing is weird. So yeah, to answer questions that I saw. So yeah, I would give Nelson tapes all the time. So obviously he sent me a box of tapes and I went through almost all of them. And 90% of it I had, because as you know, I dug out my tapes and I played stuff for you from the, when we were in lockdown. I took out all the cassettes and I played a lot of stuff, and some of it was from this era. There's a particular bit of songs that are all kind of in the same era, but this particular batch seems to have been recorded all in the same day. So this would have been something that I would have done. I've got a day off. I've got a few hours to kill, so let me just get a quick recording of all of these and then just put them away. And I must have run off a tape and given it to him. But here's where it's good that I do these things, because the old young me had this terrible habit that if I needed a cassette tape and I had a new song idea and I couldn't find a tape, whatever was around, I would just tape right over it. And the reason I do that is because they were demos. So I would think of, well, if, like, for example, if it said Peace on it and we had just recorded the album, like, what do I need this for? And I would just erase right over it. So there's a possibility that I erased over them. And that's why Nelson is the only person that had this tape, because I don't know of anyone else that has this. So kudos for him to keeping them. Thank you, Nelson, for keeping these safe and keeping them archived the way you have. And I found even more. Like, I saw another one today that I have to look through that has stuff on it that I haven't seen. So, like I said, I've gone through all of them. The ones that I thought were really going to be really cool weren't. It was like, oh, I have this, but this particular batch, man. Phew. So it leads me to the last song, which will probably be the last song of the evening as well. Because otherwise I'm just going to do a lot of talking, and I don't want to kind of spoil this one too much. But so let me explain what I'm going to do. I'm not going to re-record them. It's not something I'm even wanting to do. I love them the way they are. They have their flaws or whatever, but they have some really bad flaws. So I'm going to explain what you didn't hear tonight. Before I ran, I didn't run them straight from tape. I made a digital transfer, and I cleaned them up a little bit. What I did was I started to remove some of the noise, because the noise was really bad. And they have a hum in them, which is probably from some line cable or something. And you can hear it. So I have tools to get rid of that stuff. And, of course, I can enhance them, meaning I can make them sound clearer than I already have. So I did a little bit of that before the stream, obviously, because I'm vain and I'm not going to let you hear something that's, that's what they sound like, basically. So I had to clean them a little bit. So one of the things that I'm thinking about doing, which I did with 19, which wound up being really good, and tape, for whatever reason, lends itself really well to this treatment, is you separate, not all of it, but just separate the vocals from the music. So you can clean the noise off the music first, and then you can clean the noise from the music part. And then when you put them back together, it sounds cohesive, and now you can do things like beef up a little bit of the stereo field and make them sound a little nicer. 19 sounds great with that treatment, and I was able to like really make it sound nice. So I'm gonna do the same, get it done, and then I think I'm gonna do a limited edition of it on Bandcamp. I'll probably make it into like some sort of, I don't know. I don't know what it's gonna be yet, but it's gonna be soon because I want it out. But that's a precursor to something else I want to do with the piece demos, in particular, the what I call Exhibit 33 tapes for peace. So that's what I've kind of been working on the last couple days, but I wanted to play these for you because I thought, well, they're just odd. So anyway, I'm going to leave you with the last one off that tape. This is Save Me, and this is probably like, this one, of course I remembered. When I saw the title on the tape, I knew it was this song, and there was a little flutter in my heart that thought, I hope it's the one with vocals on it, because I have about 6 different versions of this song, and none of them have vocals on it. It's just the music side of it. But this one, Miracle of Miracles, was the one I remembered that I recorded really late at night, and boom, this one has the vocals. So I will leave you with this song. This song is called Save Me. And I'll keep you updated. And by the way, sorry, let me come back real quick. Where did it go? Synthcam. Okay, Synthcam will do. So the Pipeline shows, the 1988 and 1989, I will have them up sometime this week. I do have rehearsals this week for the shows that are coming up, and I have to finish something that's for the shows. So I'll do the best I can. But yes, I've finished editing those videos. I was hoping that I was going to get them done by today, and I was going to get them up today. They're done. But it takes time because I have to prepare them for the court thing. So it's not a normal upload into YouTube. I have to kind of do it a certain way. So bear with me on that. But you'll get those, and you'll get to see the entire show. Both those shows, you'll get them. And then you guys can do whatever you want with them. But just giving you the heads up. So sometime this week, you should see those 2 shows pop up on YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed yet, you should. You should subscribe. All right. We'll go for, we'll go back to the tape here. So here we go. Save Me. going to say goodnight. And I don't know that there'll be one next week because I have rehearsals, but I'm going to get busy cleaning these up and cleaning up the Piece Unfurled tapes. Not all of them are from cassettes, but it's interesting what's happening here. But thank you. Thank you for joining me. I hope you loved listening to this stuff. Or if it was horrible, well, what can I tell you? It's real 1980 stuff. So anyway, with that, I leave you all. I love you all. Thank you so much for being here. Like I said, next week, I'm not sure. But one never knows. One never knows. So, without further ado, you know what? Shoot. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. All right, then. We have come to the end of this particular episode, and I will see you all soon enough.
I'm part of it. Can't you see it?